lovely artists. Today we are going to be creating a family portrait. The one thing I want you to think about is your proportions of the face. Now I have talked to you about it before, but before you start your family portraits, I want you to realize that your face is divided into thirds. So we have the top third, which starts at your eyebrows and goes into your hairline. And you can measure that with your hand. If you put your hand on top, you can feel that would be your top third. Your middle third would be from your eyebrow to the bottom of your nose. Again, if you use your hand, you can put it down. You can see that this is my middle third from my eyebrow to the bottom of my nose. And then finally, your last third of your face is from your nose to your chin. And again, you can see that my hand fills my space from my nose to my chin. The other thing to remember is if we take our ear and you follow your ear across, what you should find is your ear lines up with your eyebrow and the bottom of your nose. So you have an ear that actually fits into that section. Now that looks really big when you're drawing it, but it's actually the right size. The other thing you need to think about is that we have shoulders and we don't have a teeny tiny little neck. If you try and put two hands around your neck, you'll feel that our neck is actually quite thick. And then we have our shoulders. Now you should be able to fit a parrot or a monkey on each shoulder. And you can also use your hands again to see how wide our shoulders are. So our shoulders are quite wide when it comes to proportions of your body. Now you need to decide if you're doing your family portrait with just doing the top half of their body, so their chest, neck, shoulders and heads, or if you're doing their whole body. If you're doing the whole body, you do also need to think about proportions of the body. Now you could use your head as a indicator of how many heads you can fit into your body, and I have attached a image for you to look at, and I'll include that now. And then the other thing you need to think about is how are you going to group your families together. So will mom and dad be sitting in a lounge watching TV? Are you all eating dinner together? How are you going to put the family together? What poses are they going to have? Are you all going to be cheering with your hands up? Are you going to be playing a game in the garden? Maybe catching, running, some people sun tanning. Maybe you're all by the pool and you've got mom maybe lying and tanning, and maybe dad is in the water. Maybe you have granny under an umbrella. Maybe your little brother is kicking a ball or playing with a dog. Think about how you're going to include everything in that picture. And the other thing to think about is your family members are going to be the focal point of your picture. So make sure you're including them and making them nice and big and actually filling your space. Don't have a piece of paper like this and have teeny tiny people all over. Rather, if you want to draw really tiny drawings, then make your page very small and then draw smaller things but make them bigger so they actually fill that space up. And I'll show you how we're going to get going with our family portrait now. When planning your family portrait, what I would do is decide what I'm going to create. So if I'm going to have my family sitting at a table, I need to decide how big my table is going to be, how big my heads are going to be, how many family members are going to sit at the table, what's going to be in my background. You need to think about what they're going to be wearing, and again the proportions of the face. Please don't include those cartoony eyes that look like this. Try and actually make realistic eyes, so it's almost a leaf shape and then a circle within it, and then your pupil, which is almost a curly cur but a little highlight inside. The other thing is, please also don't make L-shaped noses. I want you to have a look at your nose, see what it actually looks like, how it is connected to eyebrows, and draw what you see in the mirror, or draw what you are looking at, what mom or dad or your brother looks like. So to begin with a pencil, I would plot or plan where I'm going to put everybody. If you have smaller children in your portrait, you could have them lower down on your page, and you could have your older parents or grandparents behind them, and you can even overlap some faces if you're just going to be doing head, neck, and shoulders. The other thing to think about is if you want to create a collage, you can do that. What I did for another project is I created some painted paper where I just took my paint and painted the pages. I would do bigger pieces like this of different colors, so you might have to do skin color, hair colors, what they're going to wear, and then, for example, if I cut this out for a shirt, I would then maybe put patterns on top. So I'll show you that in a little bit, but I will show you an entire picture I created using painted paper, and everything I cut out and collaged, I either colored in with pastels or pencil crayons or paint. So you can create paper and different colors using paint or pencil crayons and just coloring it in, then cutting it out. So you may create a collage for this project as well. After you have planned where you're going to put everybody, remember our proportions we talked about. So the thirds, divide your faces up into 3. Now remember, your top third is actually a lot bigger than the bottom 2, because we have to include the hairline, so where your hair will go on top. So once you've planned out your thirds, you will then remember the top third is where your eyebrows are going to be. So plan where everybody's eyebrows are going to be on the top line. And then your bottom line, remember the middle third, our nose was at the bottom there. So again, I did ask you to create realistic noses. That means it starts from your eyebrows and goes into your nose, and you can look at what your nostril looks like. Sometimes it looks like a bracket, a sideways bracket, and you can put 2 nostrils on either side and go up into your eyebrows. Or you might want to actually have a look at what your nose looks like and draw what you think you see. So I really like noses where people have actually taken time to look and see what that nose looks like. After you have your noses, your mouth would fit in the middle of your final third. And then again, remember where your ears are going to be. It's between your eyebrow and your nose. And then think about what these people look like. Granny, maybe Grandpa was wearing glasses. Maybe he likes to wear ties. Include that in your picture. Think about what each person is going to be wearing, what their hair looks like, and we'll get to that now. When you have a rough plan of where your family members will go, you can then outline using a black marker, a black Koki, or a black pen if you don't have a marker or a Koki at home. After you've outlined, don't forget to include detail in the background and into your people. I included a picture and a clock. You can then color in with anything you have at home. I landed up using a wind-up. I use pencil crayons. You could use anything that you do have at home to try and make your skin color interesting. So please don't just use a peach or a brown pencil crayon or even paint. I want you to try and mix different colors to what your people actually look like. I did find paint, and I am using paint in my portrait here, and then I included pastels in my background. I then did a paint wash over my background. Don't forget to include patterns and detail into what your people are wearing. You may use Kokis, anything, absolutely anything you have access to. Please don't be afraid to do this project if you only have pencil crayons. They will work perfectly well as well. Please do make sure that your background is as interesting as your people in your foreground. and then add lots of little details into your picture. Now think about what type of picture you might have behind you. Maybe you have an open window and you can see the garden behind you. Maybe your family is actually in the garden and they're doing something, maybe throwing a ball to each other, or you have a pool behind you. Try and make your background interesting and your people interesting as well, what they're wearing. And there we have it. I hope you enjoyed doing this project. Please make sure that you do outline areas, make it nice and dark, and I can't wait to see what your picture looks like. Bye!